Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. This week marks the 9th anniversary of the show. So I figured I want to talk about something that I love. And what do I love? Hiss tanks! Yeah, big shock.
So I'm taking this opportunity to talk about them again. Today I'm ranking every Hiss tank design, the 5 best and the 4 worst. Do take note that I'm saying design, not every version, that would take too long. So I'm only ranking toys that have significant design changes from each other. For example, the original Hiss and Hiss 2 are on the list, but the red colored version of the original Hiss isn't. Also, the Septic tank is not on the list.
It is not a Hiss tank. If it were, it would be the worst version, obviously. Anyway, let's get started.
The 5th best and also the 4th worst Hiss design, the Hiss 2. Yeah, the way these lists are structured, we have no choice but to start in the middle. The Hiss 2. Not great, not horrible. I like the futuristic look, and it's a good reimagining of the Hiss concept, but the bright pink really distracts. If it was instead black, like the way I painted this one, it would only be on the best list, but the original makes it on both.
Speaking of reimaginings,
The 4th best, the 2010 movie redesign Hiss 5. This one may come as a bit of a surprise, since I remember reactions to this redesign being a bit mixed at the time, shall we say. Out of all of them, this one diverts the most from the original look. I'd almost compare it to the difference between the Fang 1 and 2. Still, I can't help but like this new look, so it makes the best list. And hey, sometimes a radical new look can work.
I told you that doesn't count. Stop bringing it up.
The 3rd best, the 2009 Arctic Hiss. This version looks really cool, that's why it made the best list. But it's also the laziest redesign. They just replaced the cannons with the missile rack from the Stinger Jeep, added some framework and casted it in white plastic. It only just barely qualifies as a redesign, but it just looks so great. The Cobra Wolf may be my favorite cold weather Cobra vehicle, but the Arctic Hiss isn't very far behind.
Okay, numbers wise, we've caught up with the worst list, so...
The 3rd worst, the 2002 Hiss 4. Oh look, like the Fang 3, we're back with the sound attack gimmick, so that's one strike against it. Speaking of gimmicks, the cockpit can shoot out and up, so it can fire missiles from an elevated position, which is nice enough for kids, but the whole mechanism can get wobbly and loose over time, so that's strike 2. And strike 3, while I dig the movie reimagining, this one doesn't really do it for me. I mean, trying to make it look like a fat snake?
I mean, points for trying, I guess, but the thing just looks so weird.
The 2nd best, the 2005 Hiss tank. This Hiss though is a thing of beauty. At first glance you wouldn't notice, but this is actually a completely new mold, and well in the spirit of the original. It has more firepower with all those missiles, and room in the back for troops. A nice little blend of concepts from the first 2 versions. Also, a slight retooling of this one gave us Hiss tank Soundwave.
Which is freaking awesome.
2nd worst, the 2015 Orange Hiss. It is orange.
Do I really need to say more? Okay, fine.
This one also barely qualifies as a redesign, since the only new part is the shape of the guns. Now, these do look really cool, but they are on a really ugly colored tank. Yeah, I'm ranking it this high, or I should say low, mostly because of the color scheme.
I can be a petty man.
And the number 1 best Hiss tank design is the original 1983 one.
Yeah, no surprises there. I'm sure you could all see this coming.
Of course the iconic first version is the best. It's the one that started off this whole line. It's my favorite vehicle, and if I had the garage space, I'd build a life-sized one. It is flawless. Okay, no it isn't. It is a tank that has a glass canopy to protect the driver.
But I'm gonna overlook that today.
And the number 1 worst Hiss tank design is the Septic tank.
No, listen, I said that the septic tank wasn't a Hiss tank, and I stand by that, because we're not actually talking about this version.
You see, somehow, they managed to make a second Septic tank. This was a 2014 convention exclusive one, using the mold of the 2005 version. And yeah, I am in fact cheating a bit here since this is basically a recolor instead of a redesign, but this thing needed to be brought to light. I only just talked about how great this redesign was, and now look at it.
Look how they massacred my boy.
The mold's still cool, but man, those colors. At least it's a bit more subdued than the original. However, while that one didn't sully the name of the Hiss, this one did, as they called it, the Septic Hiss Tank, so it's part of the family. Oh well, every family has an orange sheep in it, I suppose.
And those were the lists. Feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments below. Man, it's been 9 years. That means that next year it's the 10th anniversary already. Time flies, doesn't it? Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?